Hello and welcome back to Against the Storm Overexplained. Today we're going to go ahead and look at a couple more tutorial missions, starting with Hostility and Trade. Let's go ahead and get started. As your town grows, the forest around you becomes more and more hostile. Each hostility level lowers the resolve of your villagers and makes the storm harsher. One of your main responsibilities is to manage hostility as you develop your settlement. We'll look at that later. Each region has a unique set of seasonal effects called forest mysteries. The positive ones are active during the drizzle, and the negative ones during the storm. The higher the hostility level, the more negative effects the storm will bring. Establish a trade hub in this region and keep the forest at bay. So we're going to start by taking a look at this. So what are the things that increase hostility? Well, first, you get 15 hostility for every year that you are establishing your town. You get hostility from glades, 5 from small, 10 from large. Every villager gives you extra hostility, and every woodcutter gives you excess hostility, because of course the forest doesn't like it when its trees are cut down. Things that help your hostility level, every hearth will actually decrease the hostility, especially when you start to level them up, and the queen's impatience will also decrease your hostility. So the higher the queen's impatience, the lower the hostility. Now let's go ahead and do what it said to do, which is establish a town. So a few houses. We'll go ahead and start with a stonecutter camp for this clay. Drop a couple of woodcutter camps. Now, because small glades increase hostility but don't give very good rewards, I tend to avoid them, at least in the early game. Okay, and then it wanted me to make a trader. Put a few more paths out there. Lovely. Got our first order. We need to produce 20 berries. We've got berries right there, so I believe our small herbalist camp is going to be the way to go. And our first cornerstone. Lost in the Wilds gives us a new villager every time we discover a glade. Packs of trade goods are worth more. Let's go with Lost in the Woods for today. Again, I tend to make like a 2-row path into any new glade that I'm going for. Now, it keeps telling me to choose a blueprint, but I often do not choose my first blueprints until I am in the next glade to get an idea of what's going on out there. But for now, I only have the one choice, which is the brickyard, so we're going to pick it up. Now, the herbalist camp. You might be thinking, wait a second, I thought you just placed an herbalist camp. But no, I placed the small herbalist camp, which can only handle small resource nodes. So when you start getting big resource nodes, you're not going to be able to use, or you're not going to be able to harvest those unless you have the full herbalist camp. So I'm not going to choose that yet. I'm going to wait to see if I get any big berry or mushroom nodes before I make that choice. I will go ahead and make the brickyard. And I should probably go ahead and make a crude workstation as well. Possibly a second woodcutter camp. Speed things up a little bit. And for now, you're going to be set to avoid glades. Okay. We've got a Totem of Denial. I can either perform a ritual to get it as a bonus, or I can burn it down to get some incense and some packs of provisions. I would much rather perform the ritual, but I don't currently have any of the things that I need for it. Let's see if the trader can help me out. A minute and a half, that's plenty of time. I don't need to worry about that. You're going to switch over to avoid glades. And we'll go ahead and set a couple of folks to getting berries. We also have a clan hall here. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, if we start harvesting some clay, we should be able to salvage this clan hall for incense, and then use that incense to perform our ritual. So I think that's what we're going to do. Actually, no. I want to keep the beaver in the wood cutting camp. I want to put another human into here. Now, because we have 0 hostility, the storm isn't hurting us very much. But that changes real quick once you start getting some hostility. Okay, I have the wood and the clay that I need. So we're going to salvage the clan hall. And then once that's salvaged, we'll be able to do our ritual. Alternatively, we can buy things from the trader, but it looks like we don't have anything that we need. Or he doesn't have anything that we need. New cornerstone. Hostility is reduced when you sell goods. You can see the content of undiscovered glades. Neither of these is particularly interesting to me, so as a note, you can always decline your cornerstone and pick up 10 amber in recompense. Less than a minute left on that one. We've got some newcomers. A couple more beavers would be good because we do have 2 wood cutting camps. Now, before Zorg leaves, is there anything else I need from him? Not really. Okay, that's done, so now they're bringing the goods back. So what we're going to do is we're immediately going to go over to the Totem of Denial. We don't have the incense yet, but we will in a bit, so let's go ahead, investigate. And we'll go ahead and send a second to investigate as well. Excellent. As you can see, the ritual has begun. Love that. We also have this cash here that we can send to the Citadel. Because we've got the tools for it. We've got plenty of berries. That's probably been like that for a while. We'll get 3 more people. We're now looking to sell 10 amber worth of stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our newcomers to work. We're going to call Sahilda immediately so that we can trade 10 amber worth of stuff. A few of our basic tier 2 materials should be good. And that gets us... So buying or selling goods both count towards orders like this. So we're going to get some ancient tablets, some saw blades, more mushrooms. We now want to catch rainwater, so we're going to build a rain collector and produce some drizzle water. Here's our rain collector. So we'll set that down. Now we do have a large berry bush here, so we'll go ahead and pick up the full herbalist camp. Both of these are good, but because we have access to fiber, like right away, I'm going to pick the clothier. And then the granary, because I don't really have a whole lot of option there. Same with the distillery. Awesome. Brickyard is done. Now you'll notice I haven't really been focusing very hard on making my tier 2 materials, which I probably should do. Set a limit of 10 on each. So we're going to talk about what rainwater does at some point, but these 3 right here, these 3 indicators tell you how much of each kind of water there is, and they can be used to power up buildings and for some recipes. Once again, we'll cover that in more detail later on. For now, I'm going to make a harvester camp because I want to start harvesting these plant fibers. Now that the totem is done, we can actually move it around, which gives us a 3 global resolve bonus. It also counts as harmony decorations for the purposes of leveling up our hearth. Speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and make ourselves a park right next to it so that we can begin increasing our hearth level. Now you need to stop making bricks, because I have a brick place right here, which is just going to be doing bricks and a little bit of pottery. Like, I only need some pottery. We'll go with 30 possible bricks. Now, drizzle comes after the storm, so I'm going to go ahead and set some people into the rain collector because it is drizzle water that I need specifically for my order. As you can see, the storm water is beginning to rise. We've got our next cornerstone, giant vegetables or flame amulets. Well, since I have a bunch of woodworkers going all the time, I think flame amulets, which decreases the hostility from woodworkers, is probably the way to go. As you can see, woodcutters used to be ×8, now they are ×4. Got newcomers just in time. And now that we've got a bunch of people, A, we're going to need some more houses, and B, we're going to need to put people to work. So, going to make some more shelters. All I really care about are the coats. It says Herbalist Camp has nothing nearby, so we can head over here, start gathering these berries. Now, if I don't want these folks at this camp to have to go all the way back here to put the berries away, I can go ahead and make a small warehouse so that they only have to go there instead of all the way to the main warehouse. Okay, now at any time you can click one of these portraits and you can see all of the jobs that are being done and who's doing them. So I'm going to put someone else in the clothier, and I'm going to put one of my lizards into the crude workstation. And the crude workstation really needs to be kind of focusing on plant fiber here. So I'm going to go ahead and have it only make fabric for the time being. One of the nicest, easiest ways to boost most of your morale is to set up a cloth to coats sort of pipeline. It only takes a couple of buildings, right? You need one to harvest the plants, you need one to make the cloth, and you need one to make the clothes. So 3, not a couple. We'll drop the granary because why not? We went ahead and got all the rainwater we needed, so we're gonna turn in that for a couple of beavers, some planks, and now we need to make porridge and pickled goods. Now, how do I know whether or not I can even make porridge and pickled goods? I can go up to the recipes panel here, which is the U key, and it can tell me all of the things that I can make. I can indeed make porridge at the distillery, which I have not built yet, so I'm going to go ahead and build that. And I'll build it right next to my new warehouse here so that it doesn't take very long for the goods to get back and forth. Speaking of the recipes panel, what if instead I wanted to know what am I using my wood for example? I can, instead of going product, I can go to ingredient, and this will tell me all the ingredients I have and what they're being used for. So wood is currently being used at the brickyard to make pottery. I can also activate it at the crude workstation so I can go back to making planks.
Hello.
Zorg is back. Well, we definitely are going to be making some porridge, so I may as well pick up the thing that makes more porridge. So that cornerstone will give me +2 every time I make some porridge. You need more cloth. Well, we are making more cloth as we speak. In fact, we'll go ahead and force the delivery. Put priority on this building. Let's go with Beaver House this time, just to show it off. See, as you can see, all of these campers, all these folks at the camp, all these harvesters, I guess is what I should call them, are taking their goods to the small warehouse instead of to the main warehouse. The distillery can make porridge out of mushrooms and water. So I'm going to go ahead and have it use all 3 of the water. Once again, humans love anything that has to do with making booze, even if you're not actually making the booze, right? I'm not actually making wine. So let's see, where are all my humans at? You're in a stonecutter camp. We'll put you in the distillery, make you a little bit happier. We'll put you two in there. I also need some folks at the granary to make pickled goods. I can make pickled berries, mushrooms, roots, etc. Make sure you're moving your woodcutters around so that they don't completely clear cut the whole area. The longer they go, the further away they are from the trees, so the slower they'll produce. So every once in a while, you'll want to move them closer to the trees again. As you can see, we're producing plenty of porridge. Move our harvester camp over here. Take advantage of this plant fiber. All houses have room for one more villager. We're going to go with that one. That way we probably won't have to worry about housing for the rest of this run. I do not need packs of crops. Thank you, no thank you. Just pickles. I do need some pottery, so we'll go ahead and pick up that group. And once again, we find ourselves in a position where we've got more people than we have jobs. We'll go ahead and clean up some of these paths, I think. Paths aren't super important, but I like them aesthetically, and also a little bit of extra speed never hurt anybody. Looks like there isn't any more stone around, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the stone cutting camp. I suppose this is a good time to start cutting into another glade. Preferably a dangerous one. An additional +1 resolve for villagers with a home. I like that. One of the things that Ancient Tablets is good for is look how much money they're worth. Each one is worth 8. So I'm going to go ahead and sell all 3 of them. For 19 amber, remember that the trader's amber is worth more than our amber, because capitalism. We now have 24, and we can spend it on furniture. All of our people are very happy now. Let's see why. Humans are getting housed. They've got their porridge, which they really like. And they're all clothed. So between all of that, we've got a really high resolve. With the beavers, we've got the 1 beaver house. Beavers also prefer clothing and pickled goods. And then finally, pickles and housing for the lizards. The longer you go, the more of these you have to satisfy in order to keep that resolve up. Almost done making porridge. Next, we need to make some wine. We need 30 wine, which I believe is in the distillery. So we're going to turn on wine. And we'll start making that. In fact, because I want to get the tutorial done, I'm going to go ahead and turn off porridge and only make wine. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start cutting into some glades. These aren't dangerous glades, but our hostility is pretty low, so I'm not terribly worried about it. What have we here? An obelisk. We can make an offering to decrease hostility, or we can tear it down to get some stuff. We'll go ahead and make the offering. We also have some more clay here, just in case we need it. Go ahead and make a carpenter, and the guild house, of course, is going to be... Well, let's look at it. The guild house turns wine into luxury. Luxury is one of the things that beavers like a lot. Also, we've got these two passive effects. If I have one person in there, traders will arrive 50% quicker. If I have 3 people in there, then I get a +1 global resolve every time I sell goods worth 75 amber. So we'll go ahead and start making those right away. Hailstorm. If we get to Hostility 2, villagers will have a 5% chance of perishing every 15 seconds, and if we somehow get all the way to 7, the forest will claim a villager's life during each storm times the number of years. So we definitely want to keep our hostility down. We got all the wine we needed, so let's make that order. Let's finish up that order. Next, we need to sacrifice 50 wood at the hearth. Now, this is a good thing to mention. We've got this hostility at 1, which isn't a problem for us, but if it was, I would go in here, and we can sacrifice these various things to get various effects. While I'm sacrificing wood, it reduces hostility by 50. By 80 for coal, for sea marrow, then glade event work speed increases, and then for oil, global production speed increases. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice 3 wood per... It's not per second, it's per like 10 seconds, something like that. 3 wood per few seconds. And now that that's done, I will end that. Also, if you're only sacrificing to save yourself during the storm, you can always click this Stop After Storm button so that you don't have to remember that you have stuff being sacrificed. New cornerstone. Roots, or newcomers will arrive quicker. Let's go with roots. Let's turn in the sacrifice order. Now I need to sell 15 packs of luxury goods and buy perks or blueprints. I've already bought 2. So I guess we are going to have to make some luxury goods. I can make it out of wine, so that works just fine. We are making planks. Just as soon as that gets done, they should be delivering, and then I should be able to finish this up. New people. More coats. I wonder what happens if I win the game before I finish the tutorial. We'll find out, I guess. Only interested in packs of luxury goods. Oh, I need 15. We'll go ahead and pick up the small farm just to satisfy the buying and selling order. And then just as soon as I'm done making all these luxury goods, I will sell them off, and that will end that order. Go ahead and fill up the guild house, which will start turning wine into luxury, so we should start seeing the beavers begin to increase, and only them. They're the only ones that care about luxury. And you can see, just now, we've got ourselves a little bit of a resolve bonus because of that luxury. Okay, we've got plenty of luxury goods, so we're going to go ahead and call our trader right away. And we'll sell them off. Okay, that finishes that order. Moving right along. So that does finish for us. I guess that's enough. I suppose that there's no more tutorial for this one. So thank you very much for watching. Let's go ahead and go back to the world map. So that is how Hostility works, as well as a little bit of an idea of how to make the things that you need to make. We're going to talk about Rainpunk and Blightrot next, but we will do that in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you then.